Good morning. Yo, it's Adise, the bishop, you know what I mean? We chilling. Um, I am making this because I get frustrated when I see different conversations around men and women talking and engaging and trying to communicate and find love and navigate through the waves of toxic masculinity, which is absolutely a thing, but not the thing most people think it is, and toxic femininity, which no one even acknowledges that it exists. So I get on the other day. Hold on. I get on the other day. Gone fights patriarchy. That's the page. Gone fights patriarchy, and what you have is this lady watching and co-signing this black woman speak about this television show called Adolescence. I guess it's episode 3. I haven't seen it. And what they're talking about is that putting young men into therapy to combat their misogyny is not a good recipe. I agree that makes sense in extreme cases, right? In extreme cases, that makes sense. But I think for the average kid who is sexist, or the average man who just has imbalances in understanding where patriarchy has done women and girls wrong, negates their humanity, etc., and muffles out their voice. Yeah, you know what I mean. Maybe therapy wouldn't be ideal. Maybe they need to have some type of bigger intervention, right? But what she was saying was more men need to keep men in what's the word I could say? Like, they should give men consequences for being bad men, right? Like, if you're not paying your child support, I'm not rocking with you. If you cheated on your wife to get the woman you're with now, and now you're getting married, I'm not going, da-da-da-da. And, I can't argue against that, but I do that already. I already function this way. And this is in some of my past books. I think it's in Lyrical Swords. It might have been volume 2 of Lyrical Swords. I don't remember. Anyway, my point is this. In that book, I said, I don't rock with dudes who are bum dads. I don't rock with dudes that are abusive. And that's really been how I pretty much ran my whole life, right? And I stated in the book, and I'll say it again now, it's not just because I like to be a person who's around pretty good people. I don't expect nobody to be no saints. I ain't no saint. But what I'm saying is, I never wanted my kids to be around dudes who were fundamentally bad. I'll give you an example. There's a guy online. Some of you guys know him. His name is DJ Vlad. This is not about DJ Vlad being a bad person. Whatever you feel about Vlad, I've already had a whole podcast on Vlad. That's all to the left. Listen to what he told me, though. Many, many years ago, he was telling me about a rapper who he did not name. And he said that this rapper was hanging out with them. And while they were hanging out, I think the phone rang. And it was the rapper's son. And the son or the baby moms was like, hey, what's up? When are you going to come see the son? When are you going to see me, Dad? Whatever. And he was like, oh, I don't have money. I can't. But they got off the phone. Right after they got off the phone, the dude turns to Vlad. It's like, hey, you guys want to go shopping? You guys want to do it? Like, he was trying to buy things for his homies, but he wasn't buying things for his son. He was trying to buy things for his homies, but he wasn't trying to make sure his baby moms had whatever she needed. And he said he felt very uncomfortable by that, right? That's how he should feel. That's how, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't like that, right? What is my point? Is that there are a lot of men who see stuff like that and don't feel well, don't feel right about it. And there are a lot of men, like myself, who call it out, right? Who call it out. I pay child support. I make sure, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't have a problem paying child support because they're my kids, right? Like, come on, man. Like, I don't have a problem making sure that my kids have whatever the courts think is ideal. However, I do think that the courts do whack stuff. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't know that when a man's income is assessed, they assess it off the gross and not the net. They assess it off the gross and not the net. So they're cutting into whatever they know he doesn't make to tell him what he should be paying. That ain't lit. That's not justice. Don't pretend it is, right? And then there are women, and we all know, a lot of y'all know women who have weaponized the courts to abuse the man financially, which is also obviously emotional abuse. And sometimes when the splits happen, a lot of times the women, because they're mad at the man and they don't want him to be viable after they split, really try to ruin him on social media, in the courts, financially, spiritually. Like, I've seen it. And I have never in my life ever heard a woman say, you know what? I'm tired of the way that Shelly is doing her ex-husband. He's a good dude. She's using the courts to ruin him. I ain't cool with her. I never had a situation where a woman said, my homegirl cheated on a good man, so we're not cool anymore. That has never I am 55. That ain't never happened. That ain't never, ever happened. Right? I've never seen them do this. So I get tired of this idea, right? Where, and I consider this toxic femininity, this type of stuff, right? Just like I consider when men are being emotionally, financially abusive, spiritually abusive, physically abusive, of course, right? Definitely toxic masculinity. But I also don't think it's masculinity. Just like we could say this isn't femininity, right? When I had this thing about toxic femininity a few months ago, a couple women never spoke to me again. People I thought I knew. But it's no big deal. The idea in that episode was to discuss the reality that toxicity is nobody has no gender or gender identity has a patent on being toxic. And if you can't admit that, especially if you're a woman, knowing the women you know, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I see what it is. My vision ain't blurry. I was raised on Public Enemy. Word up to Flavor Flav. You know what I'm talking about? My point is, I don't like it. Look, all that court stuff can get dicey. I know a few people, a small few, who were able to stay out of court, make sure that the things handled and the dudes handled their business, and there was no problems. Like, who doesn't love that? Right? Sometimes the courts do need to get put on. Sometimes dudes are bad dads. Sometimes dudes ain't trying to pay. Sometimes, right? So I'm not defending any dads who ain't on point, but I'm not defending any of the women who ain't on point. Most of the guys, like, let's say the last 9 people that I know that got divorced, women were cheating in like 7 of those 9. And you know who's helping them? Their homegirls. Yeah, girl, let's go on this cruise now. Yeah, girl, let. What? That's your homegirl? You co-signing that? Listen, I have never had a dude who stepped out on his wife, I'm talking about married people, and me be like, doesn't sound lit, bro. Doesn't sound smart. And most cheaters end up regretting it on either side, right? But I know more dudes who have called out their homies for being, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually abusive, financially abusive, right? I have never heard of I have never had a woman tell me that she held her homegirl accountable for being abusive in the courts. Man, you know what? I'm not talking to you because you keep your kids away from their dad and he loves them. He's crying every day. He is in therapy. He is wounded. Your breakup with him ain't got nothing to do with how much he loves them kids. I've never come across that situation with any woman I've ever known in my life. Does that mean they don't exist? Of course.